So I could safely rank the 4. It's easily the M7 at the top. Then we would go to the SCAR, trading in that damage for a little bit more accuracy. And what I mean by accuracy is it just feels like a straight line once you're shooting it. It's really easy to use. Then I would go with the ASH, the new barrel. Probably better at range than the SCAR because it can just 2-tap people. It's just not as versatile. And then we got the G3. The G3 is basically just a slower SCAR. Extremely accurate, good for people on head glitches. I'd say it has more versatility than the ASH at least, but I would still rather use the ASH. You can just hit those 2-shot kills. Alright, let's get into this build. Just make sure your scope magnification adapts automatically, setting it set to on. Makes it feel a whole lot better on 1.0 sight. So fun fact, we got all the maximum magazines. We don't even have the maximum barrel on here when it comes to range, and we're at 42 meters. So this is definitely a long range machine. 3 stability panels, and then 1 handling panel. So 1 Python. Doesn't matter where you put them, as long as you have the number. The new muzzle's just pretty broken. Just gives you everything you need at the cost of handling. That's why we just put the angled hand stop on next. And then when we get to the calibrations, you can just crank it for speed even more. Bam, 50 round mag. We have the new Sentinel stable rear grip, which is a pretty nice piece. It was kind of awkward having to choose between these two, because it's a pretty big difference between the two. So now at least we have options. Got the enhanced stock, movement speed. It's a really nice piece to put on almost everything, honestly. I needed every single slot that I could get, so I got the multi-purpose on here. Put the laser on top, any color you like. And then we got the stability sight riser, the new one. So let's fly through these calibrations now. Basically, I just calibrated this so I could actually make this a good ADS speed for what we got. Always want to go with stability when moving on this because it's much more important than ADS movement speed. I did have to sacrifice it here because it's tied to ADS speed. Definitely a tough choice. This is why you want to actually look at your sub-attribute stats and see what you're dealing with. Anyways, jump onto the maximum range long barrel too. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons the G3 is pretty low on the tier list. So maximum range, and then we have all handling panels. Bunch of pythons, bunch of snaky snakes. And we got a laser on the right rail. I love the spiral fire flash hider just because it doesn't add a loss of handling. Gives you perfectly clear sight. It's basically a piece that I'm using because I don't want the handling to get too terrible. This is how I made this actually work. Then we got the angled hand stop. Nothing new. Good old drum mag. Looks like you could fit more than 50 in there. It always throws me off. Got the modular with the heavy grip piece. It's basically where we're getting most of the stats from. Then we got the new CT stock. The one with the movement speed. Basically free 2 stability points. And then we got the new frameless. Pretty much the same calibrations as the last gun. I think. Nope, I'm wrong. I lied. So yeah, basically I was able to min-max with this build and get some extra stats. This would be the same as 50, and then this would be the same as -10. Except you're gaining a tiny bit of ADS movement speed and like 2 muzzle velocity. Something super low, but still free. Then the modular has a little bit of free stability when moving. And then the usual. So for the ASH, we got the new barrel. It is really good on the normal barrels. It's basically a shotgun assault rifle though. With this new one, it's like the polar opposite. Becomes like a long range two-shot kill weapon if you hit your headies. We have 2 control panels, 2 big handsome rangers, got the right rail of course, and then this might interest you a little bit, but as we can see, I'm just not vibing with these stats. I don't need control. Usually I would just use the Titan. This is a pretty easy choice with the normal barrel. But since you just don't need control, this thing's just one of the easiest things in the game to use. Because it's just so slow and so precise. You just don't need it in my opinion. So that's why I just went with nothing. Nothing at all. Next we got the angle. I mean, shit. This is on everything. At this point, this is on basically everything. Especially battle rifles when you want movement speed. That's why I'm not using the Phantom. Also, the stability is really important too. But Phantoms work much better on SMGs. Or anything with good movement speed. It's pretty badass looking stock. So the reason I set this to -18 is trying to get the ADS strafe speed up to a good speed is just so impossible. Got the huge. So the only thing that rivals this thing in the entire game when it comes to builds this season is the MK4 Burst. Because you can just hip fire it, insta-kill people. Either way, this is obviously the best battle rifle. We got the maximum range and muzzle velocity to start it off. I just like the overall control and stability combo too. Compared to the other barrels, so I was able to make something better with this. Because we got some new pieces. All pythons. All 4 of these. Got the double port. Shocker. Got the speed booster. Of course we got the 45. Put that on. Phantom rear grip. I wanted to use the modular of course, but this just made it so that we could actually ADS and strafe at a decent rate. So, kudos to the Phantom. Didn't think I would see that back on my builds. And then we got the Canadian Tire enhanced stock once again on the Bathing Ape camo. Shit's fucking sick. I mean, the Bathing Ape, you know what I mean. You already know what's on here. So basically, it just min-maxed the movement speed up to par, and then we kept the firing stability the same as 50. Went down 12 and it stayed the same. As soon as you move this one, it's gonna change though. This one wasn't a min-max, I just wanted that control. That 0.1 control was perfect. Got us down to exactly where I wanted it. So I believe that's everything. Here's the last calibrations here. Control and ADS speed as usual. That's 4 categories now. I'll have a link to all the other ones I've covered so far. Subscribe for the other ones I'm going to cover. Probably going to do marksman rifles next. I might have already said that, so my bad. But I need to jump into that, especially with the SR-25 barrel, the new one. I want to get all the new stuff out there. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I'm out. Peace.